And there we go. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Hope you're having a lovely Friday evening. You may have noticed there's some slight changes to the room. I got myself a little toy, but we're going to explore that some other time. We'll get into it. We'll get into like setting it up, making the connections, triggering your stuff, MIDI, learning MIDI. I even have a little stand over there for an iPad. We'll get into all that. That's a future show. Today we're gonna have some fun. I look very pink. I'm just naturally very pink. There's also lots of pink going on in the room. Let's do this. What if that makes it a little better. Change the lights a little. I need that one. But I'm always pink. All this. Always pink. See that Brian Wallace is here. Ironweeds is here. What's going on? Billy Morgan stopped by. What's going on? Of course, Music to Motion here hanging out. What's going on, Brian? Brian, I think this was your suggestion of going over Ampire tones. So that's kind of what we're doing today. Also, I just want to answer whatever questions you guys got, because that's my thing. I'm here for you guys. So if you do have anything, drop it in the chat and we'll go over as much as we can go over. Face for radio over here. Oh, it's Kyle. Don't worry about him. Kyle, glad you're here. What's going on, man? Yes, Brian. So actually, Brian, this was your suggestion. What kind of tone do we want to go for? Because really that's the important thing. When you're dialing in guitar tones, obviously you have to serve the song. Now, I have a session in front of me here that just has some really basic drums in them. It's some grooves. It's not even stuff that I did over here. It's just some grooves just to give us like a baseline of something. And I think I have a relative chord structure to use just to get the idea out there. We can kind of change up the style of the song as well. But really, you know, when you're dialing in your guitar tones, you have to serve the song. Does it need something cleaner? Does it need a little crunch? Does it need to rip as like a, you know, just a screaming lead? Is it a lead or is it a riff? You kind of have to judge all of those things. Ironweed, you lost sound. I hope it's only on your end, because things look good on my end, although it looks like I need to bring the mic a little closer. I wonder if something is hitting a little too hard. I'm curious. Oh, that looks like it's... I'm also going to do that so there's less compression. It looks like it's compressing a lot on my end, so sorry. Uh-oh, Kyle had an evening cup of coffee. He might be able to hang out more. Good morning, Thomas. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Robert's here. Here for Tim's words of wisdom. You've clearly come to the wrong place, Robert. I'm all about those heavy tones. Punk or metal is what I'm working on now. Very cool, Brian. That's pretty much where I come from, too, although I have some projects that I'm working on that need cleaner tones. So maybe we can kind of dial in some clean-ish tones. And then we'll go into like some heavy stuff as well. I'm definitely... we're going to be using Ampire for everything, but... something to keep in mind is, or something to suggest to you guys, if you're not a Presonus Sphere member, maybe get that, or get the add-on for the high density Ampire add-on, which is really cool. It adds 3 more amps, 3 more cabs, and a bunch of extra pedals that are actually really cool. So we're going to throw a bunch of those things in our line, in our signal path today. Everything should be good. I'm sending to you guys. I know I am. You guys ready to get in? Maybe we are. Let me check with you guys. Sounds good for Blue Java. Very cool. Does it sound less compressed now? It looked like it was working really hard. I'm going to be honest, but sounds good to Music to Motion. Oops, need to pass some mixes on over Discord tomorrow. Paste. Oh, so Kyle's talking about the Tim Talks Audio Discord. There should be a link in the description of this video. It should be active if you care to join the Discord. It's a growing community of pretty much everybody that's in chat right now, as well as some others, where there's all kinds of different channels. If you want some mix feedback, you're working on something, you want some people, some extra ears to listen, you can post stuff in there. You want to show off your original compositions, sure. You're looking for collaborators, somebody like, I really need like a lead guitar on this, let me post into there. So it's this nice community. There's a bunch of different channels. You can find whatever you need. There's a link in the description of this video to join the Discord, so come on over and hang out. Also, you can talk to me directly through there, and if you have ideas for videos, I always there's a channel in there for video suggestions. So if you're like, hey, it'd be really cool if you did this, or how can I do this? Oh, that's a really cool video idea. Let's put that in. So I do have a list of videos. I recorded a few the other night. Actually, I have 3 on deck now that I need to edit and everything, but we're good with that. I think it's just about time to get in. I have trouble figuring out how to combine sounds. Robert, what kinds of sounds? Oh, maybe just Johnny Lipsham's here, up very early in the morning for Johnny. I think it's like 2 a.m., bud. Is that right? What are you doing up? I've been liking Ampire more than Bias FX. Yes. Music to Motion is on it tonight. Yes, Music to Motion. Dropping that Discord link. Thank you so much, sir. I don't know what Ampire sounds like in 5. In version 3, wasn't that good and sounded like it had blanked on it. 4.5 version was better. I still use IRs. So he's still using IRs. Well, you can still use IRs in the new Ampire. You can load your own IRs. You don't have to use the cabs that are in there. And you could just use the heads that are in there. And really the sound of an amp comes from the speakers itself. So if you have some really good IRs, maybe that you've made yourself or some that you've purchased, you can load them into Ampire. Definitely something to check out. There's been a lot of upgrades to Ampire. In version 5, they reworked the engine, so the amps do sound better. So it's definitely another good tool to have. He got up to go to the bathroom. Well, thank you for taking me to the bathroom. Hey, Steve. Split tool works great for combining, maybe an easier way though. Yeah, you could also do that if you want to split. I know Joe Gilder does that a lot for some of his guitar tones, is he'll put a splitter in the track and then send it out to 2 Ampires. One might be a little cleaner, one may be a little bit crunchier, and then you can balance that way. It really depends on what your needs are. So here it's 4 a.m. Tony, it's 4 a.m. I really hope you're up early, or you just work overnight anyway. But thank you for coming and hanging out, Tony. All right, pick a guitar. It's time to pick a guitar. Ooh. Okay, I think we're gonna go with just the Les Paul today. I think this is what we're going to do. We're going to play everybody's favorite recording studio game, which is the tuning game. Oh, where's the cable? Where's the other end of the cable? Thankfully, none of the tracks are armed, but is it a Roland kit? No, it's an Alesis Surge kit. It's their mid-tier, like the lower mid-tier or upper lower tier, whatever you want to say it, whatever you want to say for that. So it is, it's a mid-tier, but honestly, the sounds in it, I don't really care about. I've already hooked it up to Studio One. I'm already going to come over here and talk to you guys. I've already hooked it up to Studio One with a USB extender, so that is just straight into the same machine that we're looking at here. And I could trigger all of my different drum VSTs. And like I said, we're going to go over that. I just got this last week, so I've been setting it up and getting all this stuff. So Tim can tune. Wait. Yeah, okay, I think we're there. So I just got this, I think next week, because I'm getting some stuff in from Amazon on Monday to really like accessorize it and kit it out a little bit more to my needs, especially doing stuff with you guys here. I think next week what we're going to do is we're going to mess around with that. Brian, you should still be here. Here's a secret: jazz musicians never sleep. Thank you, Johnny. Robert Atkins tunes E. I think we're just gonna stick in standard today as well. Just have like a $500 Yamaha MIDI kit, but it's still fun. Yeah, this thing was like $500. It's awesome. Like my kids loved that I got this thing. They were just like, oh, we can finally play drums. It's like, yes, you can finally play drums because I don't have to hear it. You can finally play the drums, and I know you don't have to bug mommy. Like that's. Oh, you need to arm the track. Silly. But also you don't need to hear it, so I'm just going to mute it for you guys. Robert has an Alesis Nitro Mesh. I just triggered off of Steven Slade drums. That's earlier today when I was setting up for this evening's show. That's exactly what I was doing. I was just using the kit to trigger Steven Slade drums. Beautiful day. Maybe some Zildjians to add to it. I have some Zildjians around. If I ever needed to do some stuff, I could pull out my old cymbals from somewhere, or as an added bonus, I know the guys over at Pasty Cymbals, so I could always reach out to them. You guys aren't really missing anything. We haven't done anything yet. Let me switch this to strobe. I think Brian's still here. Brian, this was your idea to do guitar tones. So why don't you tell me what kind of style we're going to do? Or if we want to just kind of real quick bounce through a couple things. Maybe we'll do some kind of like cleanish stuff. Maybe we'll do some crunchy bits. I mean, I'm open to what you guys want. Again, like I said earlier, the important thing is serving the song. So clearly, like, you know, there's different sections of a song, so you want to be able to have the right sound for that section depending on the arrangement. So all of those things are really important. Other things to keep in mind are the rest of the arrangement. That D wasn't quite there yet. Close enough. Another thing to keep in mind is the rest of the arrangement. Is there a bass guitar? Is there like synthesizer bass? Is there piano? Is, you know, what else is going on so that you can have your guitars, or your electric guitars, I guess we should say, sitting in their spot, that they have their spot to sit, they have a purpose, and they're not just arbitrarily there. So you can dial in those kinds of things. Minor adjustments. Minor adjustments. So this is the default for Ampire. This is how it comes up. It's just the Marshall sound. Let's turn this down. It's just the Marshall. It's basically a JCM 800 or 900. I forget exactly which one this is, with a matched cab. And by default, it pulls open a tube screamer, a chorus pedal, and a delay pedal. None of the pedals are on, of course, but they're there. And we're not really going over how to use Ampire today, but just so you know that this little metal bar here is basically like your pre-amp pedals, and to the left is like your pre-amplifier pedals, so from your guitar into these pedals. And then after this little metal bar is, it's not the effects loop of the amp unless something has changed, which I don't think it has. This is kind of affecting the speaker output. So it's not exactly like using an effect loop on an amp. Not a terrible thing though. Not really anything to complain about. Oh, hang on. My chat just instantly scrolled like crazy. Ironweeds. I love having an electric kit with a brain. It has 50 different snares on it. Yeah, so that one definitely has, it's got a bunch of different sounds on it. I've yet to even scratch the surface with the sounds that are in it. But most of the sounds I'm going to be triggering are from Studio One. Usually, but your wife loves that you can do... Wait, what? What is this? What? Okay, that's probably a spam bot. Whatever. Yeah, I just bought a lot of samples from Drumforge. They're on sale, so I jumped on it. Yeah, I like the guys over at Drumforge. I work with them pretty frequently. I've done reviews and review videos for them for the Dave Otero sample pack, the Joey Sturgis one. I bought the Billy Decker one. You know, the guys over at Drumforge, they're really cool. Variety would be cool, but I'm doing heavier music these days. Tisk tisk Jessica. Tisk tisk indeed. Is the Ampire tuner a different one that is in the plugins for Studio One? No, it's the same algorithm. It's just they put one in Ampire for you. This way you didn't have to open one up. And if you didn't see, that was over here. It's just this little tuning fork. It just takes over the middle real quick for you. And I turn it on to strobe just because like I can see that better. I like the strobe tuners. That's just me. Music Demotion wants to write some heavy stuff, so let's go with like heavier stuff today. I think, you know, it doesn't need to be crazy. Turns out I really did need my glasses. I had my mix adjusted wrong and had Tim turned down all the way and my guitar turned all the way up. Like have orchestral sounds with the heavy drums, bass guitar. Yeah, you could absolutely do that. But then again, you have to dial your guitar into those orchestral sounds, or dial the orchestral sounds into everything else. Yeah, so Music Demotion, if you want to drop a link to the Midnight Bar, if that's happening tonight, by all means, you know what to do. Let's see. Oh, you guys are talking about you just mixing your audio for you guys at home. Is there an extra chair for me, John? Yeah, man, you come sit at the drums. That's for you. You'll still see everything. You'll hear everything. The speakers get loud enough. Yeah, you can buy all those samples. Billy Decker, Dave Otero, Sturgis, about 10 packs for $39. It was a no-brainer. Yeah, it's a ton of samples, especially in the Mike Plotnikoff, Hachi Nagaki, and Joe Rickard. There's a ton of samples in that pack, but it's those three producers who put that together. I did a review of that one as well, which is there's a ton of sounds in there. I think Ziggy said a password to get into the Midnight Bar tonight, though. He said it was, "Let me in! Let me in!" All right. Okay. We got a guitar. It's making some sounds. By default, not bad. We're going to go with like kind of alt rock-ish, like heavier alt rock. That's why. Wrong pickup. I changed pickups. We're going to go over like a heavier kind of sound. And so like clearly Marshall kind of sound. Good start. I mean, just by default. Not bad to start. Throw the Tube Screamer in, or the Tube Dreamer, and we'll turn the tone up. Back without it. Not bad at all. So some things to keep in mind when you're dialing in your tone is how much bass do you need? Do you have a bass guitar that is already adding some low end? So when you're playing by yourself, sure, you can have some extra bass. This way it's nice and chunky. But when you're working inside of a full mix, you may want to dial this back a bit more and actually push your mids just a touch, because the bass is handling the low end. You don't want it to get too muddy. Missed it. All right, so that's a Marshall sound, and you really can change it a lot. Like, we're not going to touch anything, just going to change the cab. Big difference. And I mean, let's just go start banging through, but like, it shows you we've changed nothing but the speakers. Speakers play so much into how a guitar sounds. That's a bass cab, which you can use. It's kind of a really grindy bass sound, though. That's pretty cool. Oh, a nice little 1x12. We're just kind of clicking through all these without changing anything but the speakers. Little harmonics, why not? Another British cab. Actually, I like that. That's like a really, really reduced kind of sound. It'll be good for like a little, either like an intro or a break kind of sound. That's pretty cool. I like that cab. That's a good combination so far. Boutique. Not bad. 4x10 American. This is probably closer to what you would want to put with a bass, but let's see what it sounds like. Not bad. 4x12 British. 4x12 American. Nice, a little 2x10 bass. I mean, we're pushing it too hard because it's meant for a bass, and that's what, yeah. I mean, but the IR is all frequencies. But you know, if we just reduce this down to, you can see how that could work for a bass. And obviously, you know, our preamp is driven a little hard, but we're not changing any of that. We're just going through speakers. Another 8x10. Yup. Okay, so this is one of the ones, we're up to Metal Machine now. So Metal Machine, Pineapple, and Gasoline. These are the ones that are part of the high density pack. So you may not have these ones. Let me just roll this back real quick so we can talk. You may not have these three, but you should have pretty much everything else that we've gone through. And then user cabinet is where you can load your own IRs, whether you got it from like the guys. I think obviously Drumforge doesn't have any, but like I know Joey Sturgis Tones just recently put out like a Kemper pack, or if you have anybody out there and you have their IRs, you can load them into user cab. So we're gonna pull open Metal Machine, and before let's get back into this. Not bad. Pineapple. It's just like hitting that harmonic. And then the Gasoline. So a lot of fun. If we needed something a little cleaner, I would dial the preamp out, or back, I should say, and then you can make it up by pushing the master. Let's go back to, let's go to a 2x12. That's not bad at all. The preamp was closer to like 6 or 7, so let's hear it again. You know, if this was just like a rhythm guitar, maybe pull this back, push the master a little harder, and add some presence. That's not bad. Throw a tube screamer in. That might be a little too much if this was like kind of a punk rocky kind of sound. But actually what I want to do, and these are extra things, so like the demolition drive, get that amp noise out of there. The demolition drive is also part of the high density pack. And this is very similar to the Horizon devices. And you can see volume, bright, attack, diode, so you can actually change like how it's pushing, and the drive amount over here. So let's get this guitar back up. So different sounds. We haven't really messed with anything in these. You can even like dial the drive back a little and push the attack a little more. So very cool. Get out of here. Also towards the end, I'm going to move the reverb over. I'm not going to move the reverb over, but I am the reverb, the delay. I'm going to add reverb. Ooh, I want to have fun with that later. Let's see. I think you have to click and drag. So yeah, just click and drag the number. Will move your pedals around, so you can rearrange your pedal board however you want. Also, as a plugin, and I'll just throw it on over here, you can just use the pedal board. So like here's just the pedal board with nothing in it on my vocal channel, and thankfully nothing's going on. So let's open this back up. Don't worry that this thing clipped over here. Doesn't matter. We're having a fun little demonstration tonight. And now we're going to take a little break and I'm going to catch up with you guys. I love me a crunchy bass, says Brian. I got to scroll back to kind of catch up with you guys real quick. Patrick Gothels is here from Belgium and it's 3:15 in the morning. Well, thanks for coming and hanging out while we do some rock guitars. That's what we're doing. Let's see. Beep, boop, boop, boop. Okay. I'm gonna eventually get them all 20 here and there instead of consistently buying drum program. Yeah. Be on the tablet for the midnight bar. That's cool, Kyle. I mean, yeah, relax, man. I want to do something heavy in C minor or F minor around those chords so I can blend in some cello. Make something epic sounding. Maybe we could do something, Michael. Maybe. That's cool. Catching up with you guys. The Vox sounds like a punk rock sound. Yes, the which one is it? The VC30. It could, absolutely. A small British cab used for black metal, 100%. You definitely could. And like, you know, when you're using guitar sims, you can get lost hunting for tone. I would say try not to, because you can really just get lost in a sea of finding the right tone. Honestly, sometimes just pull open a preset for a little while and then tweak from there. That'll really get you going. Like the presets aren't perfect, but they will get you going. And that is the important part. Old style black metal. Oh, yeah. I don't know what song that is. Maybe you do. I don't know. I like the cabs with the deeper tones. I'm not a fan of the Brit cabs. Yeah, there's all kinds of different stuff. Let's switch over to the pineapple. This thing was real big. I can never remember. It's chromatic, isn't it? Whatever. I'm messing around, but let's stick with the pineapple. For going honestly, let's match it up. Let's go with this. I'm going to turn the reverb off. Turn my drive pedal off. So with the pineapple, which is obviously it's based on an orange, it's actually called the Pineapple 4, the Pineapple number 4, and what I understand this to be is modeled after. Clearly, it looks like an orange, but I think this is modeled after the Jim Root Micro Terror. So Jim Root is from Slipknot, and in Slipknot, they all are numbered. They have given themselves numbers, and that's part of their thing, aside from the masks and the heavy music. And Jim Root, the guitar player, is number 4. So I am pretty sure that this is modeled after the Jim Root orange Micro Terror, which essentially, if I remember correctly, because I was thinking about getting one of those a long time ago, I just never did. It is the preamp section for the rocker verb inside of a small cage, and then just like the power section was changed because obviously you can switch between 7 watts and 10 watts, or 15 watts, excuse me. Cult of Personality. I worked with those guys. I've worked with Living Colour, and they're really cool dudes. All really smart, a lot of fun to work with. They're funny dudes. But Living Colour, a good bunch of guys to hang with. Actually, I know a few people, a couple of guys that work with them still, because they're still in bands with those guys. And then Will, the drummer, he's doing all kinds of stuff, and he's great. Yeah, you remember that song. War Pigs. Yeah, and I'm just kind of figuring it out. Catching up with you guys. 8x10 sounds good. Yep. Love me some crunchy bass. Yes, Brian. We all do. Definitely love the sound of the driven tubes. Yep. Even if simulated, yep. If you drive your tubes a little hard, they get nice and crunched up. And then you can always roll it back. This way, you can do nice little clean little... Obviously, you can't hear it, but like... If you scroll the volume back on your guitar... You'd have to mess around with it a little, where as you drive, honestly, if I bring the drive down on this, maybe the volume up, push the mids a little, and then volume down on the guitar. You can use the volume on your guitar to really drive into the preamp and get different sounds as well. And you can do this in different cuts and different takes too. You don't have to do it all in one and try and like rapid fire. I'm trying to do it for you guys, and you can't see what I'm doing because I forgot to switch the thing back. But your guitar has a volume knob on it for a reason, so that you can do things like that. Start real low. Even just doing that, the volume's still low, but if I'm driving into the strings a little bit more. And then you can crank your volume. I'm also clipping my preamp a little. Or my converter, I should say. We've taken the mids and pushed those up. We can add a little extra treble, maybe, or excuse me, that's the treble. That's the bass. Got them mixed up. Pardon my discretion. Bring the drive down a little. Maybe a little reverb. A little too much reverb. Bring the mix down. Here comes the chorus. You know, you could do stuff like that. I mean, you can change things. You can put stomp boxes in, throw them out, whatever you need to do. I think the Demolition Drive is new. It is not in 4.5. Correct. The Demolition Drive is part of the Ampire High Density Edition. So if you... the Demolition looks like it's off. It was off before. I'm catching up with you guys from a while ago. I know I'm way behind in the chat. Yes, it is a part of an add-on. Black Sabbath War Pigs. Don't tell anybody. Wink. I hear some copyright strikes coming. I hope not. Hello, there's my wife, Maria Flansbaum. She's here. She's saying hi. Hey, everybody say hi. I'm catching up with the chat. Okay, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for letting Tim do his thing. Yes, thank you, dear. Thank you for letting me make it seem like I know what I'm doing. Mango Man's here. What up, Mango? I think the guitarist is Vernon Reed. Yes, Vernon. Right, Vernon Reed is the guitarist. Will Calhoun is the drummer. Corey is the singer, and Doug is the current bass player for Living Color. Again, really cool dudes. Paul, the thing with dialing in tones is you always have to take out the nice lows to fit it in a mix. Yes, Paul, exactly. Right now, we're just messing around. I don't really have anything. I mean, if we really wanted, I can grab the bass, put something in very quickly, or maybe we even can just program something. It'll probably be easier. Honestly, though, if we just grab the bass and play something real quick, we can dial in some bass tones. Why don't we do that real quick? We'll switch things over. Oh, ding. 2 points. Put it on the board. 2 points. Let's see. Let's just make sure that that's all the way down. It is. Ready? Swoop. Copy paste. It got really hot where I am today. It got up to 80 degrees and extraordinarily windy. The wind has finally died down though, which is nice because it doesn't sound like the house is trying to blow away anymore. Let's just get something close-ish. It's close enough. Cool. Ready? Let's dial in some quick bass stuff. Let's go chonky. Let's hear how that sounds. Not chonky enough. It's not. It's just not. Let's see where we are. We're in the bright channel. Let's just put everybody to 12 o'clock. Honestly, not even closer. Mellow bass, nuh-uh. We want something a little grindy. Renegades of Chunk. It's got fuzz in front of it. Yeah, why not? That's okay. I have the right channel. Yeah. It's definitely doing a thing. We can drive that a little. We can do a little bit more there. Make sure our level's good. Got a little crunch to it. I want something a little bit more up the... Wow, look at that pedal. Everything's just pinned. Okay, so we got that. It's something. Oh my goodness, you guys are just talking to my wife like crazy. Dumble amps are very player sensitive, way too expensive, yes. What are you listening with? Headphones? No, or her or me. I'm just listening through my monitors. Yeah. Do I have anything going on here? I don't think so. It's barely doing anything. Boop, 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 boop. The Gibsons with the Memphis circuit have an extra cap so you don't lose so much of the high end when you turn the volume down. Yep, it's a nice little mod you could do. Is there ever too much reverb? 100%. Listening in tonight, I've watched everything on Netflix, the whole library. So she's stuck with me tonight. Yeah, it's time to move on to Hulu. Probably not a bad idea. Yeah, the end of the internet's not that far, man. There's nothing left. Dim Eye Piano Guy, or Tom, also known as Tom. LOL, it was 91 today here in North Florida. Well, brag about it. In New Jersey, it was 80. What is Tim listening with? Headphones? No, I'm listening through my Kali Audio LP8s. We've got the end of the internet, and there it was Tim. Yes, exactly why I'm here, because everything ends with me. Beautiful day out in Tennessee in the mid-70s. Very nice. Tim's page will be here past the apocalypse. Correct. I'm the one starting the apocalypse, so of course it will be later. Yeah, I'm just listening through my Calis. If you couldn't roll the windows down or anything because there was still the car wash. Oh, boo. Billy Morgan, I worked for a band from Jersey called Il Nino. Oh! Il Nino was a Spanish hard rock band. That were I think they were from New Jersey too, but they recorded in a studio in North Jersey, in Hoboken, called Water Music, and they recorded with some guys that I worked for afterwards. So like that record came out in like the early 2000s, and then like late 2000s, like 2007, I was working for Dan Corneff, who worked on the Il Nino, like their first record. So small world, Billy, small world. All right, everybody's talking about just the weather, which is always nice. Here's our beat today. Dead simple. So we're going to keep things dead simple. But maybe what we could do, because we're kind of in a faster mood, is we'll just kind of bump that up. Because why not, right? 170. Let's go back to it. I think that's pretty good. We'll go back to the start, throw our click track on. You guys don't need to hear it, but... Well, that was wrong. Also, I need a little bit more here. I heard a super chat come in from Music to Motion. Thank you so much, Music to Motion, for the super chat. Appreciate any and all donations. I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do 1, 6, 4. And I'm just playing in C major. that click was especially loud. But there we go. We got something in. And because we put Ampire on our channel here, it doesn't commit these sounds. If I put it in the bypass and we locate forward to bar 3, just DI guitar. There's nothing. So we are still armed. We are not armed anymore. Unplug that thing. Get rid of this. Get this guy back. Slap him in. Paul, I saw that you also sent a super chat. Thank you so much for that. Hey, Tim, is there an effect loop in out? Put like on a real amp in Ampire? Unfortunately, no. With Ampire, we were talking about this earlier. When you're looking at the pedals or the pedal board, if you just pull open the pedal board, which I'm going to do on this channel, pedal board. Let's say you throw something in here. Actually, on the pedal board, you can't do it. What am I even thinking? You can't do it there. When you're in Ampire, double click. Your pedals along bottom is where you can just like easily load things up. But as a visual representation, there is this double blue line here, which is also the same thing as this metal bar here. And I can move this, I can move this around. And the way that it works is if it's to the left of the double blue bars down here, or it's to the left of the metal bar here, it's like your guitar being plugged into this pedal before the amp. For the things after this bar, to the right of it, it's not really like an effect loop. It's more affecting the speaker output of the amp itself. Or like, it's affecting the sound from the speakers. It's not really like a loop. So unfortunately, no. There might be changes in the future, but right now, no. Mika Han is here. Hello, Mika. Checking in to hear Ampire. Tim Talk Audio. You got to use the user cab. Load realistic IRs. Turn off the mic sims. No Ampire for me because Presonus keeps changing it. Presets lost. So that was something that unfortunately did happen to a good number of people. Which is when Ampire went through its facelift and its change. The old amps weren't there anymore. And some people like the cab sounds. Mika, I think you missed it. We went through all of the cab sounds just with like something a really basic riff, and we just kind of went through everything. We didn't change the amp at all. We only changed the speakers. I haven't loaded my own IR, but you can with the user cab here. So you can just hit the plus, and it'll open up your dialog box, and you can navigate to wherever your IRs are. But we're not going to do that right now. We're going to go back to the Pineapple with just the matched stuff, because that's where we just were. I'm just going to catch up with you guys real quick. Tom, okay, let's go back a little bit. There's Billy talking about El Nino. And then Did My Piano Guy, or Tom, I've been trialing the DAW software for the past 4 months. I keep coming back to Studio One. Reckon it's about time to call it home. Tom, I reckon you're right. You were there front of house to our manager. Billy, that's awesome. That's hilarious. Again, small world. Great band name, Dead Simple. Don't tempt me. We're thinking of getting the Cali LP6s. I have a smaller room, so I think the 8s would be too much. Wondering what your thoughts were. I love my Calis. I think they're great. All I need to do for them is I can come over here and I've tuned my room, and I don't have it on right now because I'm not really like critically listening to anything, but I created a room correction EQ for me. Just because in my room, like I have like this here, it's like 135 hertz, just rings in my room. That's a mode that I have. So I just cleaned it up. I did some sweeps and everything, and just cleaned up my own room from there. But I cannot recommend the Cali stuff enough. I think they're making great speakers. So go for it. Also, the price is right. I think the LP6s for a pair of them is $300, and then the LP8s are like $500, and I think those prices change. They go on sale. It's great, but they're very good. I would definitely recommend them. There's tons of great bass IRs out there. Yes, Ampire's Ampeg Sim is acceptable, but their cabs are less than stellar. Understandable, Mika. Like I said, things are easy. We're just going through what comes with Ampire, but thankfully, you can load in your own IRs, just like you're saying, and get exactly the sound you need. A lot changes with your IRs or your speakers, your cabinets. Like the people think it's the amps, it really is the speakers that make and break and change the sound so drastically. Mika Han. Music Emotion is checking to see if you're going to make it to the Midnight Bar. Paul, you're very welcome. I appreciate you sending the super chat. They have free preamp VST that's just like the Sans Amp DI box. It's pretty decent, and best of all, it's free. Who has that? Robert, did I miss something? I'm scrolling up real quick. I don't think you said who has that. Unless it's in here, maybe I'm wrong. Have you heard the JBL 308 monitors? That's what I have. I love them compared to things I've never heard. Compared to things you've heard and compared them to. When I was shopping around, when I was looking at the Callies and kind of just other stuff, I did consider the JBLs. And I think I went with the Callies. Why did I go with the Callies? The Callies were brand new. I had heard lots of good things, and honestly, the price was kind of right. So I went with the Callies. I know that the JBLs, especially the 3 series, are still in that same kind of price range. And they're don't get me wrong, they're good speakers. They just weren't good for me at the time. Robert is going to post it. Robert, you might not be able, I don't think you're going to be able to share the link, but you can put it in the chat, and then Music to Motion, if you can just copy and paste so that makes it into a hyperlink for everyone. That would be great. Where were we? Now that we have this, I don't know if it's going to work. But you know what we'll do? We'll record something and we'll just start going through and dialing in a tone, because now we have context, right? Ironweed Studios. I missed some of the show. So sorry. Am I going to have to repeat myself? Who cares? I don't care. I'm still on Artist and I have to rely on Ampire presets, and there is a lot of buzz on them. How can I overcome this? Depending on, well, okay. One, have you tried other amp sims to see if it's your guitar or your cable or something like that? That's one thing to check. Another thing to check is if you're working with Artist, I don't know if you have the gate plugin, the gate stomp box, because there is a noise gate stomp box. It's this guy right here. So actually, if I have the guitar up and just dial this in real quick, like, you can hear it kind of like clicking in and out. So having a gate inline, especially having the gate like before most of your other stuff, all my life I've been searching for something. So a gate wouldn't hurt, and what you could do as well is throw just a gate plug-in before Ampire, and that'll help clean up some of like that amp noise that you're getting. I'm gonna turn my gate off for now. So yeah, you could always throw a gate in. Brian King is here. JBL rocks. I guess he has the JBLs and he enjoys them. How can you overcome it? Also, what you could do, Ironweeds, is after you've recorded everything, just edit out, like you see on my bass guitar here, like I have all this emptiness here. Let's just get rid of that. And then I don't have to worry about any noise coming from before the note, right? I can just do like that, trim it up real pretty, like, get that mixer out of there. Let's make this a different blue so you can see it a little better. There you go. So I have a little fade in right before the thing hits. Oh, I was early. Actually, I wasn't, because that's the note. That's the pick attack. I was playing with a pick. This one I was a little late. Doesn't matter. Let's see. Let's grab all my tracks. Make them all the same size again. Okay. So let's do, what did I do? I did something easy. That is what we did. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And then we don't have to play it each time. We'll just mess around with tones. Ready? That's what I did with the bass. It's different. Lovely, right? Good enough. Disarm. Get that out of here. All right. That thing is over there. And we're going to call that the thing, right? It's mono guitar. Who cares right now? Double track your stuff. Makes it sound bigger. Change what you're doing on each side. You probably heard a lot of those noises of me just chugging water real quick because it's getting a little toasty in my room. Do you have a gate? Yes, you have artists. So you just have, you may not have the gate pedal, but you just have the gate plugin from Presonus. Looks like this. So you just throw the gate plugin. Whoops. You just throw the gate plugin before Ampire, and it'll do exactly what you think it's going to do. Dial it in because there was a little bit of noise there. Where are you? Where even is that? It's right there. It's really low. Why is my gate being all weird? Whatever. But you have a gate. You can dial it in. You can dial it in from here, unlike how I'm doing right now, because, well, I'm failing at it. Look ahead. Turn off look ahead. I'd have to dial this in a little bit more, but you just have the gate plug-in. So I'm just going to get rid of that. Open up Ampire and just zoom out again real quick. Move Ampire out from underneath my head. But yes, Ironweeds, you do have a gate plug-in. It's just the plug-in, is not the pedal. Blades, good evening, Blades. Won't be able to make for the after show again this week. Got stuff early in the morning. I hope you all are well. Blades, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with all of us. Are you saying the buzz is coming from the simulated amp? Killer Blood, how you doing? Good evening. Yes, better mids. I have the JBLs also. That's cool. I believe so. Yay. Or is that not possible? I think we already answered your question there. Ironweeds. Paul, when I think of something buzzing, I think it's mostly a connection issue. Yeah. Or are you using single coil pickups? Are you using humbuckers? Like, what's going on? Is your gain cranked on your amp all the way? Just causing sounds and stuff like that. There's a lot of different things it could be. But cleaning up, I mean, like, if I really needed to, and I'm not going to now, I could chop out all this little dead space in between all these guitars, or I could use strip silence to make it really easy for myself. But I'm not going to do that right now. But that would get rid of excess noise. Catch you all later. Bye, Kyle. Their gate is amazing. Yes. Could it be my chords? Probably not your chords. Like your cables. Not what you're playing, though. Most of the time, you get to put insert and it's basically already set, unless you're doing gent. Yeah, for gent stuff, you just need to dial it in so you get more of that genty sound. The amp is going to make any noise or buzz more intensified. That's what I'm thinking it might be. You might not hear it when it's clean signal, but when it's amped up more, yeah, you would hear it. Yeah, you would hear like because the dynamic range and just the noise floor, like everything gets closer, so you would just hear buzzing. I think we're hearing the computer fans. Not sure if that's what you're talking about. I think he's talking about his stuff. You probably are hearing a computer fan from in my room, because computers exist, and a number of them exist in my room. Also, what is going on over here? Whatever. I usually put the gate on the input of my interface, so it's not on the insert of the track. You could do that. You absolutely could do that as well. I'm talking to you guys and trying to catch up with chat, so I may as well just do that real quick. Hit me up on Sphere. Music to Motion, making friends again, or you can reach out on the Discord and we can help you out. Ironweeds, I think you're already in there, but for anybody else, there's a link in the description of this video for the Discord, so come hang out with us and ask for advice, show off your work, get mix feedback, and just say hey. You could also reach out to everybody on Sphere. Insert on the input channel, not on the insert of the track. Yeah, for the gates. Thanks all. You're welcome, Ironweeds. Is it better to record a guitar with pedals with a mic, or would you DAW and then apply the effects? If I'm working in Blaze, it depends. If a pedal makes the sound that the band or you are going for, then I would commit that sound. I would put a pedal in front of an amp if I was recording real guitars, like a real amp. If it makes the sound, I would definitely use it. If it doesn't, and it's something like just like a reverb or maybe like a delay or something, you could, if you're recording DIs, you could always reamp it and throw those pedals into the effects loop or something like that. Or you could just throw it in as a plugin. So that's kind of how I would approach it. If it makes the sound, commit it. As long as you're not really screwing things up. But commit that sound. This way, when you send it off to like a mix engineer, I just have to work with what you have, because that's the sound that you needed for this part, for this song. So you've commit that sound. That's my suggestion. Michael Wilson, could be a grounding thing too for Ironweeds. Yeah, there's lots of different things. Do you have a dimmer on your lights? That makes a ton of noise, especially on single coils. Yeah, because of the resistance of the circuitry in your walls through the outlet. It gives off RF noise. It does, absolutely. Let's rock and roll and get some noise. If you have pedals, they sound good. Do that, exactly. Stopping by to say hello, Thomas. Thank you for stopping by. You mean cables, yeah. So it certainly could be that your cables are a little wonky. I'm not really sure. That was my original plan, but my amp sucks. The Boss pedals sound great, though, and we'll see how the mic picks it up. Sorry to hear that, Blaze. Use whatever you can, but like, we're going to get back into in a second on that screen, this screen here. We recorded something. We had a sound. We'll mess around with the sound and see how things blend in. The Discord newbie friendly, 100% there. Dim eye piano guy. Yes, Tom, it's very friendly. It's just it's another chat application, but you can share a lot of things. You can also do voice chats live, and so a bunch of us can just like join in, kind of like doing a meeting. But I don't think there's a limit to how many people, or there may be because it's a relatively small channel right now. They may limit how many people could be in the voice chats. I don't know though. I'm not an expert. And then Music to Motion, drop in a Discord link. Thank you so much. Used to use Pod Farm. The new Ampire got rid of that for me. I like it a lot. Very nice blades. YouTube just catching up. Let's see. And then Robert has, I heard on the White Zombie Astro Creep album, they had 4 guitar tracks. Do you think that is for different mixes, 4 different parts of the song, or do you think they really used all 4 as one tone? It could be a number of different things. Unfortunately, I wasn't there. I'll have to do some research, but 4 guitar tracks means to me that they quad tracked the guitars. So they probably had one guitar into one amp, into one cabinet, mic'd it up, recorded it, changed everything, and maybe even the part, recorded it again, changed it all again, recorded it, and then got a bunch of different parts. That's what I would think, is that if they have 4 guitar tracks. Also, White Zombie, it would have been the early days of digital recording. It could be 4 tracks on tape, but that doesn't mean that it's only like one microphone, because you can sum them off of a mixer. Honestly, I don't know, but I would say, just by reading that, maybe it was a quad-tracked guitar, which sometimes sounds good. Double tracking definitely gets you like that nice full sound. Quad tracking, you can start to get some weird phasing stuff, because it can become more apparent there. And you'll lose intelligibility if you quad track too much. And your timing's not really great. So that's a thought. Let's see. It's the Boss ME80, which is a huge sound. Just recording into the DAW, you lose some of the big sounds. I may try to mic it up through an amp. Thanks for the advice. You're very welcome, Blaze. They used 4 different amps. So there you go. One was even a small amp, I think. A 1x12. Yeah, that's what we're doing here. So let's get back into it. We have our parts. And honestly, I think it was later on. Let's just do this. Ready? We'll just create a loop. I think this one was probably the best one, and I'm totally guessing. Okay, so we very quickly just pulled open a preset, threw a tube dreamer on before our bass. Little ringing in the guitar. I don't care about that. But yeah, I mean, if that's our bass tone, why do I feel like I'm cutting myself off there? I am. Loop. There we go. Ready? Let's start all over. The loop's not on. We started all over. This is just the default Ampire now. So it's our Marshall sounds through the cab that it has. Maybe we'll dial the preamp back a little, push the master a little. So even that, not terrible. Does Ampire do convincing cleans? Let's find out. Let's just pull open a preset. Clean March Hall. I would say those are pretty good. I forgot to put my vocal channel into solo isolate so I could talk to you guys. It really is about dialing in that sound. So let's go for a clean sound with all this. Very quickly, let's go back to the bass, and I'll just turn the tube screamer off. Wasn't clean. I would say these are pretty decent cleans, because even with clean tones, you do want a little bit of like crunch to them, in my opinion. You definitely want that to a little bit of breakup. What we played doesn't really play well with clean sounds. Oops. What I meant to do was there, and then I want my open. There we go. I'm gonna put this on so we get a little bit more of that. So I love a JC120 for clean. JC120s are very nice. You could definitely do something like that. Almost starting to have a Radiohead type sound, like the song Creep. Yeah, the 6 chord in there definitely has Ampire on the cello tracks. Yeah. Catching up. Let's see, music and emotion. Let's collab on something heavy with a synth orchestra hybrid rock. Make some good demo videos, that kind of thing. I like your thinking, music to motion. I like your thinking. Yes, and piano too. Sometimes adding amp sound makes it sound better. Yeah, you can definitely do that. So we have our bass back to here. Just a little grindy. Let's mess around with some other stuff. Let's go to like the heavy ones that are part of the high density pack, the add-on. So you want a 5150? Let's get Metal Machine. Here's your 5150. Let's see. I even need to zoom in a little. This is a little. So here's your clean channel of your 5150. Oops, get out of here. Or your crunch, and then your lead. So let's listen to crunch real quick. It's your post volume, high, mid, low, and your pre. Let's get that out of there. Let's get that out of there. Okay, change your channels. Okay, so there's real grindy kind of stuff. Again, this isn't really the amp that we should be using for this. We did orange already. This is more like a diesel. So let's just find out. Channel 1 or channel 2. Well, let's go with channel 1. Most of our pedals are off here. The songs need dirty though. Yeah, this song definitely needs dirty. It's a little honky for me. Okay, so that's just our diesel sounds. They're not terrible. Let's go back to an AC30, but we'll stay in the Brilliant channel, and we'll mess around with that because maybe we can get some breakup here. I'm gonna do a faux pas. I'm going to copy this down to another Ampire track that's on default settings. Let's find a spot for both of these. Same performance, different Ampire settings. Okay, I've got an idea for a song already. Cool. I'm glad to inspire. Don't do what I did. Don't copy your guitar that you recorded onto another track and just change the amp. That's not really double tracking guitars. I did it for the example here. Just play it again. Maybe change your pickup. Maybe change your guitar. Those little timing differences, that'll make a bigger difference than doing this. So don't do this. You want to see something and why you don't just copy things over? I can already hear spectrometer. That's the one. Spectrum meter. No, that's that one. Where's the phase meter? Where's my meters? Phase meter. I missed it. What you do, even though this is it's different Ampire and things are changed, like I can go in here and I can make this all of that microphone. What you're doing, even with these things, because it's the same exact performance, is you're creating phase cancellation. Even if we flip it, which we'll go to input controls and we'll flip it. And we'll go to input controls and we'll flip it. It's definitely better. It's definitely better like this, but if I take these two off, it's essentially canceled out. I don't know why it's not right now, but that's fine. But it's all mono right now. So that's why it's a faux pas, and you shouldn't do it. I don't even need all these extra Ampires on here. Let me talk to you guys for a little bit, but it is getting a little late, and I think we're going to get wrapping up pretty soon. Look, I thought I saw Ziggy in there. Let's see. So when you're deciding on the second tone, what are you listening for to know it's a good blend? A great question, Robert. What you're listening to is that you're adding and you're enhancing. Uh-oh, thanks for the subscribe. What is that? Piano poo. Piano. Okay. The new subscriber. You're listening to is you want to add one. You want it to have its own character. So if there's like two guitar players in a band, you want each of them to have their own sound and their own place in the mix. So what you're listening for is minor variations, stuff that actually adds to the sound of the guitar or the guitars, I guess we should say. Really filling things out. Creating separation between your left and a right, unlike what we did here when we just copied stuff over, because all the timing is exactly the same. I don't really want to go in and like cut them and shift them and do stuff like that. That's gonna be bad too. I'd rather just play it again, honestly. So what you're listening to is you want to add to the sound. You want to fill out the sound, especially like you push one guitar to one side, either all the way left or 80% or 60%, whatever you want to do. What are you missing on the other side now? Does that other guitar need to be a darker tone? Does it need to be a brighter tone? Does it need to have more mids? Does it need to be thinner? These are all questions you have to figure out for the arrangement of your song. You still want your guitars to sound good on their own in the context of the mix. This way, like if you only solo the right guitar, it's still like you know what he's doing, you know what's going on. So those are the things you have to listen for there, Robert. He's making sure that it's not hurting the other one. Brian King is in Austin. What's going on, Brian? Ziggy is here. He's here. I've cheated and used scratch takes for a separate track, but it's better to just record another track. 100%, Paul. 100%. I'm instigating a collab of real heavy hybrid synth, this type of thing. Opportunity for some bass. If anybody wants to be in on it, what you could do, join the Discord. That's right. Gonna plug it again. You're welcome, Brian. But yeah, I mean, you could either join the Music to Motion has a sphere workspace that everybody could join in with, or the Discord where you can find a collaborator, somebody else to join in and add to your songs. Ball in the Jack Recording Studio says, Rocket Tim, Ball in the Jack. Thank you so much. Discord is great. Yes, it is. So, I mean, we've dialed some stuff in. I want to take this other guitar out. I'm going to go back into here real quick. We've got something. Did you hear the speaker breakup on this one? It's almost like it's a blown speaker. That's not terrible. Ooh, this is new. I didn't know that. Metal Machine has the Friedman miking technique, or you could do the other ones like the ribbon or the XY. Bloom line. Lots of different sound variations, especially in the high density add-on. I didn't know that they did the Friedman technique for a bunch of them. I wish it would be really cool if in here, maybe I'll make a feature request. In here is being able to change out the microphone. Although, depending on the IR, that wouldn't be as easy. Because I know for something like, here, let me show you real quick. Let's just go with the regular Misha Mensur. If you go into here, this is a different amp sim, so we're not into Ampire anymore, but there's different cabs, and they grabbed the impulse response with 4 different microphones. So the Zilla cab has the condenser, which looks like a M49 kind of thing, but I don't know exactly if that's the mic that they use. They use a 421, the Royer 121, or a 57. But you can do this for pretty much all of the different cabs that they have in here. They sampled all of those. So that would be nice if, ML Sound Labs put a matched in there. Or you could load your own impulse in here as well. Or the matched cab. Let's hear what just default Misha. We're not going to get into Misha's stuff right now. I'm going to take that off. But I think what we're going to do is probably wrap it from here. I just saved. Let's see. I'm just going to come back a little bit and catch up with you guys. Move this a little closer. Okay. Dim Eye Piano Guy. Tim, do you have a video that covers the listen bus in detail? No, but great suggestion. I can definitely add that to the list. The list is in here. Real secret information. Can't tell you. Cannot share what's in the list. And yes, it's a physical list. I have electronic lists and I forget to fill those out. Listen, bus, and how to use. It's in there. You heard me write it because I have to say things as I write them. Doesn't everybody? No, not yet, but great suggestion. Yay, need it. Nothing but nothing. You got something. I believe he does. Look for search for his YouTube videos. I'll be honest though, I don't have a video going over the listen bus, but I love that they added it with version 5 so that I could put like room correction stuff in here, and it doesn't affect what goes to you guys. It doesn't affect what goes to the main mix. It just affects what goes to the speakers, and that's brilliant. In my latest several recordings, I have used your Les Paul Epiphone. That's what I have as well. For one side with 1 amp and set of settings, and my Telly on the other side with a different set of settings, or some combo. Yes, and that's a brilliant way to do it. I mean, I have an Epiphone Les Paul, and I also have an Epiphone 339 with coil taps, so I can get different sounds, even if I kept them both in humbucker. And I think they have different pickups in them too. But even just that, if I was both using the neck pickup on both guitars for all the parts and use the same amp, it would still sound different. So, great examples. Thank you, Brian King. Glad you thought so. But I like shooting my phaser. Good night, all. Hope to see you soon. Blades, thank you for coming and hanging out. Is this HD or STD? Beep, boop, boo. Uh-oh, I lost my spot. Here we go. I wish Presonus would have an option to hide and mute tracks. When I hide tracks, they are still active. So I wonder... So I would hear, say, the DI tracks or the guitars when I hide the tracks. Is there a... Hang on. Have you not just disabled the track? Because if you go in, and when you're looking at your track headers, if you go here, and you go to disable, that'll just turn... It won't hide it, but it will mute it for you. So, I mean, you could probably... I wonder if you can make a macro to do that. Let's go to the macro organizer real quick. Let's make a new one. Let's do disable. Yeah, here you go. You can make a macro to do it, and it'll be real easy. Track disable, add, hide disabled tracks, add. Right? I think that'll work. So let's give it a name called disable and hide. We got to give you a keyboard shortcut. Disable and hide. And let's try Command-Shift-D. Because why not? Or not Command-Shift, Control-Shift-D. So let's see if... Let's re-enable. Enable track. Okay. Ready, Robert? Control-Shift-D. There you go, bud. I hope that makes things easier for you. So if we really wanted, let me go back, right back into it. Let's get rid of our mixer. These guys, these tracks right here. I just did a temporary group. I held down Shift. Click on your first one, hold down Shift. Click on your last one. Control, Shift, D. Just make a quick little macro, bud. And it was just the two commands that you needed to do. Disable the track, hide the track. I hope that speeds you up there, bud. Hide versus mute is two separate things. Yeah. This is why I said I wish they had an option to hide and mute at the same time. Clicking the button comes up for it would be great. I know you've done something on the listen bus at some point. I probably talked about it in some live streams. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll make another video about the listen bus. Why not? You can make it a macro. Yes, that's what we just did. You'll do that. Ken is here. What's going on, Ken? It's towards the end of the show, Ken, but that's cool. You can stick around for the Midnight Bar, which is over on Zoom. Music to Motion is probably going to drop a link in the chat if he hasn't already. And you can go say hi to everybody there. Another super chat coming in from Music to Motion. Macro Man, Macro Man, Macro, Macro, Macro Man. Who got to be a Macro Man? I'm here to embarrass myself, really. And if my wife is still watching, her. Most importantly, her. Paul, thank you so much for thinking it's a great show. Ironweed, thank you. Ampire in HD. Or Ampire Standard. Oh, it's Ampire. It's the full version of Ampire. Sorry, Brian, I couldn't realize what you were asking me before. So it's the full version that you get with Pro. It's not the version that you get with... like artist. That's the words I was looking for. Offshift Productions. Thoughts on gauge staging drums, different with electric drums, I'm sure, but I've seen a lot of competing ideas out there for gain staging acoustic drums. Normalize, what do you like? I like getting it right at the source when you're recording, so getting as much signal into the converter as you can before clipping. But of course, leave some room, because sometimes in fills, drummers, we go a little heavy. So give yourself some extra room. But then, yes, I think you can normalize your drums. If you're looking, you can normalize your drums if the project you're working on calls for way more consistent drum hits. If you want that flow and that feel, maybe don't normalize, and you can just kind of like gain up a little bit where you need to. But if you're doing something like metal, gent, even some other hard rock stuff, you could probably get away with normalizing your drums. It should be fine. Also, make sure that when you normalize, you give yourself that headroom at the top. Like my normalize, I changed my macro. My normalize and peaks at -3. But maybe you want -6, maybe you want -12. Robert's going to make himself a macro. As a quick little macro demo for everybody. And Tom, or Dim Eye the Piano Guy, is now in the Discord. There's Music to Motion dropped a link to the Midnight Bar, which I'm going to copy. Actually, I'm just going to click, and I'm going to leave that there and minimize it. This way, I have it for later. Because maybe I'll pop in. Who knows? Password, let me in! Let's see what else is going on. Great show. Fun as always. Thanks, Tim. Music Emotion, thank you so much. Brian Wallace with the super chat. Thanks for making my dreams a reality. Brian, this show is for you, bud. That's exactly what was another thing that happened over. Good, Brian. That was another thing that happened over in the Discord. I had sent a message out, I think it was last week, looking for subjects to make shows about. And Brian said, hey, dialing tones in Ampire. So made it a reality. This one is for Brian. I appreciate you, Brian. I appreciate everybody who's a part of the Discord. I appreciate everybody who's a subscriber. And Music to Motion, how many likes are we at right now? I think there's some people in here that could probably hit that like button a little bit harder. I mean, just really hit that like button. Why not? Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out on a Friday evening. Head over to the Midnight Bar. Maybe make some new friends or some friends that are here now. We're going to head over to say, hey, talk about some stuff, talk shop, anything like that. Can't find a way to change the normalize to different dBs in Studio One Pro 4, but thank you for your response. All right, real quick, off shift. You ready? I'm going to show you. When you're looking at your macros, and you go to your macro organizer, you find normalize. You find the one that you're looking to do. Honestly, it might be easier to go here. If I just right-click on it and edit the macro, right? Right-click on it, edit the macro when it's in the toolbar. When you're looking at your macro here, audio, normalize audio. That's the first step. Second step, edit volume. In here, where it says level and -3, relative 0. So the relative is a 0 dB full scale. Double click. And you can go ahead and change this number. You can make it whatever you want. I set it to -3. You can activate or relative is versus like what it already is, but I want it to be from full scale. So I'm going to say -3, and you can rename it up here, and you're good to go. If anything, you can also rename it up here. But that is how you would change your macro and your normalize to a different volume from full scale. I like the show. Sorry I was late. Things are a bit odd at my place. Don't worry about it, Ziggy. It's totally fine. The answer is always macros. Mind blown. That's what I'm here to do. I like normalizing using -23 LUFS, and the audio batch converter works perfectly for this. Yeah, you could definitely use the audio converter to do that. Just kind of set it up the night before you're going to do some stuff. Like, here, do your thing. See you later. And walk away. I need to use macros more, but I appreciated working with you guys, asking these questions, coming up with these macros and showing. Brian learned a lot. Yes, I love it when people say that they learn a lot. That means a lot. Again, now we're going to say goodbye. We've talked about, head over to the Midnight Bar. Maybe just say hey over there. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I appreciate you all. Enjoy your remainder of your Friday evening or Saturday morning, depending on where you are. Have a great weekend. I will see you next week. Goodbye.